Hey everybody, thanks for joining in. Hold on, close it. Nobody can hear us now, can they? Oh no, I don't do that. No.
I said, I said, are you ready to go
No,
live?
no,
And
no,
you
no. I'm
said,
just testing. I just want to test the sound.
yeah, because the sound. Nobody's up here right
Oh, you sure?
now. Yeah, look, this is how you can tell. If anybody pops in, right, then this means the symbol right here,
With
that
one
means
person.
people. That means people. So once the counter goes up, you see the counter goes up, right now you're at 0. That means nobody's here. If you get a like on the stream, then that'll show up. Right now, nobody's here.
All right. Well, thanks for joining in. We're just trying to. It's a testing from running back CT.
Mhm.
Um,
So what are you planning? So what are you planning on doing for this? For running back live streams?
Running back live streams. The goal is to make sure that we stay connected to the city. We're gonna be at your nearest basketball games, tournaments. We're going to pretty much be on site. That's the goal, to capture some of the young legends in the making for 2025, 2026. Once we gain some traction from this, we hope to. Right now, we're going to be in a lot of Waterbury and the surrounding towns. But as we grow, obviously, we want to get into some of the major cities within Connecticut, and then venturing off to the tri-state and New England areas. That's our major goal. Um, and because these kids need the exposure, it also helps with um, how they speak when they doing interviews. Um, so that's a major thing. So it's just kind of like giving them their tutelage of interviewing, because some of these guys are gonna make it to the next guys and gals. They're gonna make it to the next level, so they're gonna have that experience of being interviewed and just pretty much talking and expressing themselves in front of the camera, live or unlive. So this that's the main objective for going live. We want to be on, and plus we want to feel that atmosphere. We want to feel the energy of the building, because the buildings be rocking and rolling. So we want to be in the building. We want to feel the atmosphere. We want to feel the energy, and we want our energy to um, spill over to them as well. So it's going to be, um, you know, a lot of things to come. And going live stream, that's the next step.
All right. And for those who don't know, can you give them a little synopsis of what this whole thing is about. You're new to the channel.
Well, if you're new to the channel, it's basically run it back. It's kind of like a double entendre. We're running it back. Primarily is we interview those great legends from yesteryear, back in the day, that made their imprint playing basketball on the high school level, and a lot of the people that we interviewed have made their imprint on the collegiate, and then we had a couple that made it as far as professional. But it's giving them their flowers. That's why we kind of like run it back. So when you're playing basketball, that's kind of like a term that we use when the game is over. It's like, come on, run that back. And it's what we're doing is running it back. We running back the clock of time. You know what I mean? Let's go revisit what you did in 78 or 89 or 92 or 97. That's just the gist of it. But as we gain more traction too, I don't want to miss what the kids of today are doing. So that's why we have the youth edition. So we're capturing these kids, why they're making an imprint, why they're becoming legends. We want to capture that as well.
All right. I got some questions for you. How you doing, people? My name is Kyle Eric. I've been his editor for about 3 years now. A little over 3 years. You brought me in because you needed some help, but you know, I've been doing I've been doing editing and podcasting and everything for a number of years. But this brother right here, he put me on game as far as history. I had no idea, you know, based on where we are, I had no idea that, because I don't follow sports that heavy like that. I haven't since '90s, early 2000s, Jordan era. You know what I mean? So I can't say I was ever on point when it came to basketball, nor the history. But then you opened my eyes to how much history is in this town. You know what I mean? Like we come from a city that at the moment does not have the best reputation, but it has a lot of rich history in athletics as well as scholastics. And I want to say thank you since we're live right now. I want to say thank you for bringing me in. You know, um, we've been doing a lot of interviews lately, especially like back to back. We've been at the local rec center. We've been at the local shout out to BCC TV, the local public access studio, and everybody that's been watching Run It Back, lately. Just big ups to y'all. Big things to come. But what is your as of right now? What's your favorite interview? You got a favorite interview?
I don't know if I have a favorite interview, but obviously, thank you because you've been, helping push this thing along. The thing is to evolve, right? And
Hmm.
so my goal is to continue to evolve, and from the start to now, we made some tremendous strides, and I look forward to continuing making strides.
Right.
But as far as my favorite interviews, it's hard to say because um, I kind of pick something, from all of them. It's because they all have their own story. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So with that being said, it's there's if I can pick something, or if they can tell me something about themselves that no one knew
Hmm.
or that I didn't know. Now that's the gym in itself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's a piece of history and art because it's part of their. If they ever wrote a book, it's they're part of their life. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? So it's they're spilling their self, their guts out to us. And a lot of and the reason why I say I don't really have a favorite one because I guess I'm gonna say this: my favorites or my best moments is when you see some of the stars of like yesteryear back in the day when they go in detail into the some of the trenches that they battled on the court and they can kind of like reliving those moments when they was some of them tough games that they had to muscle their way through or tough spells that they had to grind and get on out of and but when you watch their expression, watch their energy as they're telling the story,
Hmm.
it spills over to me because it makes me want to dig for more. Like, okay, keep going. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like the highlight. And then especially when they start telling me things I didn't know,
Hmm.
that's the gym for me as well as those that might be watching.
I see that all the time with you. Like when we're in the studio or we're at the rec or whatever, you're just having a conversation.
Right.
You're just having a conversation. But a lot of times I know that they've hit you with something when you're like, get out of here, get out of he's like everybody's got their own like idioms, right? Like everybody's got their own things that they say or do when something excites them. And I can tell you continuously learning about this stuff, and a lot of people personally, but the ones that that doesn't mean you know everything about them, right? And I can tell you like to learn. You're not just a athlete or a jock or anything. You like to learn about the new stuff going on with in the game and everything. And I've seen how you and your son interact when it comes to it too, because he's an athlete too, just different sport, right?
Right. Right.
You know? So, yeah, I'm lucky enough to see these conversations go down, and I get to learn about what's going on because I feel like half the time I don't know what's going on in my own city.
Right.
I'm gonna be 100 with you. There's so much stuff going on in Waterbury. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to anybody if you're watching, and this is just a test. But you're gonna show them more, try to get more subscribers on this platform. as well as, as well as others, you know?
Sure.
But have you been having fun?
Oh man, I've been having fun since the day I started. Because it's one of those things where how a lot of times we want to see how can I make this better, or what can we do to enhance this or enhance that. But first, you got to find the problem. You got to find the need. And as I um happened to be an individual that came through the city,
Mhm,
streets of Waterbury, and played ball, and I indulged in sports heavily when I was younger. And then as you get older, you see some of my friends, some people older than me, that loved the game and they loved it. They was entrenched on the hardwood, or the blacktop.
mhm,
That's what they did. It consumed them. So giving them opportunity to kind of like share their story, because a lot of them still have a story to tell. If that
mhm.
makes any sense.
Makes perfect
So
sense.
so and especially those that, as they evolve to be grown men, some of them, most of them, if not all of them, are fathers, and then some are grandfathers, and some, depending on how old we get, some are great grandfathers. But
Mhm,
sometimes their kids don't even know, or didn't know. Dad, I didn't know you did that. Or it could be someone that works in the school. Hey, Mister So and So, I didn't know you played. Boy, I didn't know you did this. I seen your interview on YouTube and on social media. So it's kind of like giving them another chance to, number one, relive some of the great moments, and
mhm,
to kind of a taste of mini stardom again. You know what I mean? Because when
yeah,
people see them we just do the interview, but I'm not with them when they go to the grocery store and they run into somebody that saw the interview. Now it's
mhm,
like, the nostalgia and the praise all over again. Like, oh, I didn't know that. I seen your interview. That was good. I liked it. Keep doing what you do. So, and then a lot of times they come back to me and tell me, the experiences that they had after, post the interview, the running back interview. So that's, when I hear those stories, those are like, that gives me a lot of joy and motivation to keep doing.
mhm. So, what's your favorite era of basketball?
Mm. Well, I gotta say my favorite era. I'm gonna say the '90s, because number one, I played in the '90s, but
Mhm,
number two, I think the '90s was a time when obviously basketball was super duper physical, but um, we were really in tune in basketball. Like, we were in tune in sports, period. But when you think of, like, when I think of a Friday night, like, especially when I'm between 14 to 18, if I don't have a high school game Friday nights, TNT, the Chicago Bulls is playing, and everybody's in the house watching the game.
mhm.
You're gonna be watching basketball till about 11:30.
I remember that.
Because they always had the double headers on TNT Friday night basketball season. So everybody kind of like tuned in, and then that Saturday morning you at the boys club talking about the game last night. Or you with your friends talking about the game, and then you read the paper and stuff like that. So I think we had more time to really take it in. We
Mm,
wasn't really distracted by um the the distractions that can, like, outside of sports.
mm,
And like we say, like today, like a lot of the younger generation are entrenched with the cell phone.
yep.
Our only source of information was either TV, newspaper, or obviously the
TV,
radio
newspaper, radio, and word of mouth.
and word of mouth.
Mhm,
So the kids today have it much, better in that sense, because they can just pull it up and see what happened 30 seconds ago. You know what I mean? When you were and then here's the thing too. A lot of athletes that played at the same, like, in that era, or even like, just if you was a basketball player
yep.
and you played on a high school team, unless you were playing someone that from a Wilby or Crosby or anything, you don't know what no one did until you look in the paper the next day, because everybody had a game on the same night.
Mm,
So unless you was playing somebody, you didn't know what he did. You just had to read about it. You know what I mean? And that was the highlight again, because number one, you play the game. Number two, you get that Republican American the next day, and you read,
yep.
and you go right to the sports page. You reading through the article, and you seeing who did what the night before, like, oh, junk. And then when you see him, like, yo, I seen you, you got busy last night or whatever.
Mhm,
So that was kind of like reliving the game again, just looking at the paper, reading the paper, and everybody was in the paper because then you cut out your paper clippings and stuff like that. So that was like the feel, like back, and that's why I say the '90s, because um, I think as a fan and a athlete of the time, not only were we engaged in it because we played, but like when I say we was entrenched in it, like we read on it, we
Mm,
watched, like anytime we got a chance to, and a lot of the games we saw in real time. Like, the game come on, all right, you made sure you was home for such and such who was playing.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Now today, a lot of kids, not even kids, just people in general, because it's not just kids that be on their phone, adults too.
yeah.
So but a lot of times we're looking at things not in real time. It's kind of like in delayed time. Or a matter of fact, I didn't get a chance to watch the game earlier because I was at work. I'll pull it up later when I get home. I'll, rewind it or whatever. You know what I mean? We got that capability.
Do you feel like it's not okay? Okay. So I grew up in that era you're talking about, right? Like I
Yeah.
grew up when people would watch TV or go to a game or whatever, it was a shared experience. It was a shared experience. We were all basically watching things in real time at the same time. Now we can, now just like what you said, we can watch it whenever we want. Do you feel like do you feel like now that that you can see like short clips of something on a TikTok or a YouTube or or anything like that that has enhanced it for you or or do you feel like something has been taken away?
Well, no, I mean, because now we're able to, I mean, obviously, with the emergence of the advancement with technology,
Mhm.
um, we don't have to worry about. We can kind of like see everybody. Kind of like, here's one, I can watch a couple games at the same time if I wanted to.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like we have access to capture everything. And then a lot of times too, the shorts is what it's kind of like is whetting our appetite. Like, oh man, I can't wait to the next part, or I can't wait to see this until I can. I can't wait to the next short until I can see the full
Full game.
video or the full
Mhm.
game. You know what I mean? So it definitely that helps in that aspect. To kind of like, and here's when it keeps you in tune too,
Yeah.
because you're reading the shorts. I mean, you're listening to the shorts, you're watching them, and you're anticipating the next one until that video comes out when you can watch the whole thing, or the game comes out and you can watch the whole thing. You know what I mean?
How do you feel about like video games have been around for a long time,
Oh
right?
man,
And people playing
Atari.
right? And people playing sports games, like everybody is waiting for the new 2K. Like I loved NBA Live.
Hmm.
I loved NBA Live on PS1 and PS2 and so on. But then 2K came in and just changed the whole game. How do you feel about the virtual space in that way? Have you watched anybody like say live stream themselves playing their favorite teams?
Oh yeah, again, I say, um, I'm trying to think. Back in the day, we had the game Double Dribble. It was a basketball
Double
game.
dribble
Double Dribble.
yeah, double dribble on Nintendo.
Nintendo, right? You get in
Yep.
that corner and you catch fire and you
Yep.
can't miss. But you know when you had Tecmo Bowl, when you look at how slow the players moved, and then you get into 2K and 2K this and 2K that, and then you got the NBA games where it become more lifelike. You know what I mean? That's the advancement of technology.
Mhm.
Um, Whereas it almost looked like it's a game for real. Nowadays, it look like it's a game for real, and you can add your own little, like, as you as a figure. You know what I mean? You can be a a, a,
Custom character, like
a character within the
yep.
game.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I think just on that aspect, man, the technology is awesome because it kind of gives you that real life feeling.
Mm, mhm. Who was your favorite team to play in, stuff like Double Dribble?
Well, my favorite team to be was always Chicago.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing too. Like back then, we didn't really deviate from our teams. Whatever your team was, that was your team.
Yeah.
Even if they were sorry, you ain't really, because you didn't want nobody to say, "Oh, you don't really like the Lakers. How you gonna pick Golden State?" Nah, because Golden State suck. But no, if the Lakers your team and they suck, you're just gonna have to you find ways to still be better with the players that you had. When
Mhm.
it comes to video gaming. Um, But
what about the college games?
the college, I mean, I haven't really played any of the college games
Mhm.
on PS. What is it, like PS5 now?
PS5, yeah.
Yeah, so I haven't played none of the college games, but I can imagine it's the same thing though. And I think too, I don't know what they did to rectify the how the players are able to get paid.
Paid,
I know
yeah.
about the NIL stuff like that, but
Mm.
when it comes to gaming, I don't know how they are able to regulate that. If they did, but that was college is just like the NBA games and stuff like that. We was in tune, and then as it started to get more like when the graphics started to increase and get better, now we was like more involved in the game. So much so that there's people that still like gamers to this day from just kind of like still playing and seeing the progression of um the electronics. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
yep, I know yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That was the closest I've ever come to playing in the NBA because I sucked at basketball. Well, actually, no, I didn't suck. It was just it wasn't like a I tried out I tried out in middle school.
Hmm.
I got it I got in, um, I got in, but I thought about it and I was like, I went to a private school back then.
Yeah.
And basically, if you showed up, you were on the team. If you
Yeah.
if you showed up and they had enough spots, you were
Yeah.
automatically on the team. I couldn't shoot a foul shot to save my life. And I think I got like a couple of assists, but
Mhm.
ultimately my grade slipped and I couldn't stay on the team.
Yeah.
Right? Then I tried out for high school, right?
Mhm.
And yeah, nah, it does not it wasn't in the cards. I'm glad I tried.
Yeah.
I'm glad I
'Cause
tried.
at least you can say you tried.
Yeah, I can
You
say
know?
I can say I tried. I got athletes in my family, but that doesn't always equate to, you know. So I just stuck to the NBA lives and then later on the 2Ks.
Exactly.
That was the closest I would be able to, come to playing in the NBA or anything like that.
Definitely. Sure.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure. But I mean, I definitely like this, kind of like this little test, that we're running.
Yep,
And just, for those that might be tuned in, it just give you a little preview of what to come, So
yep,
we're definitely working on a lot of different things, and we're gonna be rolling things out, week after week, day after day, what I'm saying? Because our goal is to kind of stay busy, stay innovative,
mhm,
and stay on it and stay uplifting because the ultimate goal is to uplift those, whether it's adults, whether it's kids of today. We want to constantly uplift them. You know what I mean?
yep.
Because kids of today is our future. You know what I mean? I know it sounds cliche, and I remember the Whitney Houston song.
I
I believe
believe the
the children
children
are
are
our
our
future.
future.
But it's the truth, though. You know what I
Yep,
mean? It was relevant then. It's relevant now. The kids are still our future. Um, and if we can, grab some of these kids from the streets by way of athletics and sports, you know what I mean? So be it. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So,
yep,
but as long as we're getting them off the streets, getting them involved, and hey, you might not make it to the league, but if you can get a free education out of that, that's the
mm,
win. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And the ultimate win is staying out of trouble.
Staying out of
If that's
trouble.
if that can be a motivator for you to stay out of trouble, let's go. Let's get the kids going. Let's get them active. Let's get them involved in sports and fitness and stuff like that. So
And then get them back here to do an interview.
and get them back here to do an interview.
Yep, yep. Okay, so you've just done your first 23-minute live stream on YouTube.
First 23.
This is the first 23. There will be more.
Absolutely.
There will be more. But I want to let people know for those who are, that for those who stuck around. You had like 2 or 3 people up here before for this, for this test.
Mhm.
So I want to say, just big ups to everybody that stayed. Big ups to everybody who has been watching the Run It Back episode, whether it's on YouTube or whether it's on public access.
Mhm.
We're also going to be doing an audio podcast version on
Yes.
Spotify and a bunch of other platforms. So look out for that, especially
Absolutely.
over the fall and the winter time. In the meantime, in between time, you got any final words?
And final words is just, make sure you guys tune in to Run It Back CT. We're busy. We're gonna stay busy. Um, and we do it for you guys. We do it for the listeners. We do it for the fans. We do it for the kids. We do it for the adults. We try to across, all lanes with the show, you know what I mean? But our
Mhm.
main goal is to uplift. So if we can continue to uplift those individuals, um, stay tuned in, like and subscribe, pass the word. And here's one too. If you have any, some potential people that you felt as though they had a successful or a nice high school career, shout us out. You know what I'm saying? Hit us up, let us know who. We'll gladly take a look at it and possibly interview 'em,
Most definitely.
you know?
All right. Well, man, I'm proud of you.
All right, man. Thank
You
you.
just did your first YouTube live stream. This is not your first live stream period, but this is your first YouTube live
Right,
stream.
right,
You
right.
know what I mean? So, so that was, so that was fun. But just like you said, and this is cliche in itself. Like, share, subscribe. You know, we got more coming down the pipeline.
That's
And
right.
thanks for everybody who stuck around.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
Wow.